Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Research 202, Introduction to Research Methods. I'm Dr. Swigert, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit today to try to get you started off on the right foot and maybe alleviate some frustration. I know that when you're first looking at a research project, or paper, it may seem very daunting. It's kind of like looking out into a very foggy area. There's all this stuff and you can kind of see it, and there's the research questions and the problem statement and the purpose statement and the sample and the variables and all of that. And I'm hoping to kind of bring it all into focus. You're not expected to see the whole picture today, but over the 9 weeks, hopefully the picture will become better focused and the fog will begin to clear. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to be doing is working on a literature review. And the purpose of the literature review is to really dive into the literature, to learn about a topic, to see what has been researched, why it was researched, where it was researched, when it was researched, and how. Okay, and so, the literature review is really going to help do that for you. But what if you don't know much about your topic, you're interested in it, but you really don't even know where to begin, and it can be very overwhelming. Now, this slide that you're looking at is from a PowerPoint that I'll be posting in the classroom in the next couple of days, and it is on how to use the library. Some tips on how to search in the library so that you get the information you're looking for without necessarily being overwhelmed, okay? Because we all know two things happen. You go to do a search and you either get no results or you get so many results, you're like, there's no way I could possibly read all of these articles, right? So this PowerPoint that I'll be posting in the classroom kind of walks you through how to do a search in the library and get really good results that you can manage, that you can actually review and manage. But I'll post that in the classroom. But for now, I'm just going to focus on the last couple of slides. And so this first one is, what if I know so little about the topic that I don't know where to begin? So I'm going to say something that's probably going to shock you, but just listen and bear with me, okay? So, although not considered scholarly reference material for citation use in a college paper or high school for that matter, this is where reference material like Wikipedia, Credo, or Oxford Reference comes in nicely. Most of these reference materials will tell you all about a subject, including its history, and who the seminal or most important authors were on the subject. So you use these reference materials to learn more about the subject you're studying, but then you go back into the library armed with the knowledge and tools to help you search. So I love Credo and Oxford Reference and even Wikipedia. Now I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute, I was told I can't use Wikipedia. You can't. That's correct. You cannot use Wikipedia in a college paper, and believe me, I will notice it and I will dock you. But you can use Wikipedia and Credo and Oxford Reference and any other reference material just to gain general knowledge, okay? And when you go into Credo or Oxford Reference and even Wikipedia, if you go to the bottom, it'll give you articles that they used to develop this reference material. You can go to those articles, okay? Those articles most likely are scholarly articles that you can use, okay? And so this can really, really help get you off on the right direction. And it will show you some of the most important authors, and that's who you want in your own study. You want those authors who wrote about the topic early on. You want the newer ones, the ones that are up and coming and writing fresh new material and making new discoveries on your subject, okay? So Wikipedia and all these reference materials, they're an excellent tool to help you get pointed in the right direction, okay? And so with that, we're going to talk about bibliographic mining. This was just so revolutionary. When someone showed me this when I was in school, I was like, oh my gosh, why did I ever realize this? So bibliographic mining, what this means is that you find an article, okay, and it's a good article, and you think, wow, I just wish I had more articles like this, but I searched for 5 hours just to find this article, right? But if you'll scroll down to the references in that article, you'll find related articles and you'll find important authors. You'll notice when you read an article, if you go down to the bottom and you look at the references that they used, you'll begin to see the same authors over and over again. And this should tell you, hey, if this guy quoted this author and this guy quoted this author, then maybe I should read this author as well, okay? So use the references in the papers that you review to help you build more reference material, okay? And to find those related authors. The other thing that I would tell you is, when you're scanning through, you've done your search and you're scanning through all the different articles that have come up in your search, the title is the first thing that you should look at. And the title should give you a good idea of what that article is about. So here I have an example, and I'll also be posting this in the course. Now I'm posting a couple of announcements every day, maybe one a day for a while, so check every day. I don't want to overwhelm you, but do check often because I'm posting some stuff that can really, really help you. And so here it says developing long-term physical activity participation, a grounded theory study with African American women. So right off the bat, I know that this is a grounded theory study. That's the methodology that they used, grounded theory. Okay, you'll learn more about grounded theory as we go through the course. But a good title is really going to show you, and tell you what it's about. Okay, so here they want to develop long-term physical activity participation. It's a grounded study. And also, we know a little bit about the population in the sample. It's African American women. So a good title is going to really tell you a lot about that study. And you can even decide, I don't want to read this study, it's not relevant, or, oh, this is perfect. Okay, so look at your titles. And I would also encourage you, if you're saving the articles, develop a system for saving them so that when you go back and you look at them, you can very easily tell, oh, this article was about this, was written by these people. I would include the date so that you know how current that it is. Develop your own little system. You'll come up with things that you'll need to know, and put that when you save the article in your own system, on your own files. I used to do it. I'm trying to remember exactly how I did it, but I think I would include the author's last name. I might not include all of these because there's so many, but maybe a couple. And then I would put the date. I kind of did it like an APA citation so that I could very easily glance at it without opening it and know, okay, this is the Harley article. It's a grounded theory, and it was written, I don't know, the date's not on this one, but it was written in 2011, okay? So something like that, develop your own system. This particular article here, they are showing us about the introduction. So here it says the authors start with a narrative hook to introduce the topic and indicate its importance based on being well established as a topic of interest. And so it says the link between physical activity and health is well established, all right? Not only does lack of participation in physical activity contribute to the rising obesity rates in the United States, but it also directly contributes to the risk for several chronic diseases and leading causes of death in the United States, such as heart disease, hypertension, and on and on. And then notice that they provide evidence here. They are citing actual articles, okay? So whenever you say something like something is well established, you need to show the evidence. You need to show, here's how I know it's well established, because Frederick and Orenstein told me that it was, okay? And the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So this is your evidence. You're showing evidence. It's not your opinion. You're giving actual evidence, and you're saying, I know this is true because Frederick and Orenstein and the U.S. Department of Health, I read these articles and this is what they said, okay? All right, so the authors are starting with the general problem of lack of physical activity contributing to rising obesity rates and numerous health problems. All right, so you want to identify a problem, okay? If it's a matter of understanding or learning, then that is not really something we want to research, because that indicates that the information is already there. If we just need to learn something, that means the information is already there. We just need to understand, then we just need to go read these other articles. But we want to identify a problem that we can actually research and, maybe provide some guidance or solution. Okay? So scrolling on down, it says here the authors focus on the general problem down specifically to the problem of lack of physical activity for African American women and the consequences of this lack. So a lot of times what I see is students have a very broad topic and you want to narrow it down. So up here at the top, where they were talking about physical activity, they're talking about the whole United States. That's very broad. We want to narrow that down, and that's what they've done here. It says, although lack of physical activity is of concern for the entire U.S. population, it is of particular concern for a certain subgroup, including African American women who remain particularly sedentary. And then they also see they're giving evidence here. They have quoted the CDC and the National Center for Health Statistics. So it's not just their opinion, they are giving evidence, okay? So if you make a claim, if you state something, make sure you back it up by giving your citations, okay? And so here they've focused their study. They're not just studying everybody in the United States now, they're narrowing it down to something that they can possibly manage, okay? And they go on to talk more about that. All right, and then we're going to scroll down a little more. I'm running out of time. I only have 15 minutes, so I may have to do a second part to this. But here it says the authors justify the importance of the problem by briefly describing categories of studies that have addressed the problem in the following paragraphs, okay? And it says the authors identify a total of 4 different deficiencies within the literature on pages 2 and 3. So in your literature review, this is what you want to do. You want to show that this problem that you want to solve and that you want to study, you want to show it's important, and you want to do that by citing various articles, okay, that have studied this in the past and that, have shown that this is an important topic and an important problem to study. Okay, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to make a second part to this video so we can go ahead and finish reviewing this little article. So I hope you've enjoyed this so far, and please join me again for part 2.